developments. The Dogon is known for its deeply profound creative narrative or creation story. The narrative expresses the character and the function of the universe. The Dogon creative narrative is probably the most highly complex and sophisticated account of a creation story ever constructed through the processes of the formation of matter and of biological reproduction. Ama, and I've had to put God in brackets, this concept of God, if you don't put it in, black people won't know what you're talking about. So it's a double-edged problem. Ama, which is not God, but I have to put it in there so we get the sense of it. Ama, God, in brackets, begins the world into existence by the mixing of primordial elements and the vibrations of his spoken word. The handbook will now present an abridged summary of the story. Shall I read that to you? In the beginning, I'm abridging it. In the beginning, the structure and substance of the universe was in Ama, the supreme creator, who was in the image of an egg. The egg was divided into 4 basic parts or elements of air, earth, fire and water. This establishes also the 4 cardinal directions, north, west, east and south. I quote Karenga there, because that was his interpretation there. Ama is perceived as the egg of the universe and they are one, following an unsuccessful initial attempt to create the earth. Look at that, an unsuccessful attempt to create the earth. That's non-European. God is perfect in the European book. You see, God can't make mistakes. So we don't even have their concept of God. Ama is not a European God. It's a completely different concept. Ama is perceived as the egg of the universe and they are one. Following an unsuccessful attempt to create the earth, Ama attempts a second creation and planted a seed within himself. Now the egg became 2 placentas and Ama placed 2 sets of twins, male and female. However, before the gestation cycle was complete, one of the male twins, Urugu, violently breaks through the womb to seize the female twin. Unable to achieve his aims, he rebels against Ama's established order. He thus creates disorder to the balance and order. Urugu descends into space and primordial darkness and attempts to create his own universe. However, his knowledge was incomplete, so he could not speak creative words. Karenga 2010. Ama uses a piece of placenta which Urugu took as he broke from the celestial egg womb to restore order by creating the earth with it. To be exact, Ama punishes Urugu for his actions and transforms him into a pale fox. As a fox, he wanders aimlessly on earth. He would always be alone, always incomplete, and eternally in revolt, forever wandering the earth, seeking his male soul. That's our story. Okay, now it's mythical, but it doesn't mean it's not scientific. Doesn't mean it's not scientific. We don't need Darwin's theory of evolution. We need to do some more research. That's what I'm saying.
How much is the book?
The book is 1999. We're on the same page there.
In fact, I haven't got anywhere near that. And it's just so in terms of reading the book. And that's so
Fox.
just so much work this man has done to put this book together.
Thank you so much.
You know, because
Look, brilliant.
this book is the result of European. This guy was a French guy who went to Mali, met with these elders, and in fact, he spent months. And what he did, they brought a ship, a university ship, to gather all this information. Now the question is, how much they really understood what the people of Mali was telling them? Because it was a different culture. And when one culture is speaking to another culture, how much do you really understand? Because certain words are not transferable. Certain ideas are not transferable because they're not part of your liberty. And also, some of the things that the people of Mali couldn't tell them because the language, the understanding, the practice was too, and
Look at that.
Can you show us the book again?
this is what they produce. out of the mountain of information that they collect. And they will decide of the information they gather, what they understood, what they misunderstood, secondly, what they decide to release, and what they're going to lock up and keep tied up. So again, the brother's point is a key point. Where's our study? Where's our scientists? Where's our original idea? And even this of the Mali people, it came second hand. It came by way of other people who came to rob, who came to steal. And even to the best of their understanding, how much of it was over the head that they couldn't fully grasp and understood. Because since nobody was at the beginning of time, and there's no such thing as the beginning, there's always existence. I've not been to university, but one thing I know for sure, there's no beginning and there's no end. Earth could disappear tomorrow. Russia can blow it up, America can blow it up. But if Earth disappears and does not exist, Earth will be just like one grain of sand in the whole barrel of sand, maybe in the whole beach of sand. Just one grain. If you had a barrel of sand on your head and one grain drop out, would you take off the barrel, put it down, and pick up your grain? Nah, you just walk on. What's a grain of sand? So for us to understand life, it's just ideas, myths, and we try to make sense of. And I'm 100% with my brother here. The European idea is the most stupid, the most backward, makes no sense, but yet we believe in it, because we haven't stopped to think. Does this make any sense? Because the idea, and God said, is God's word. What God? What is God? Utter rubbish. Foolishness. Because he has done some serious study on it, I have. But one thing for sure, our ideas, when you look at it, they're different from this.
Very different.
And most make sense. You may not understand it fully, but they speak. Because what Europeans call God, and it is said that man creates God in his own image and likeness. There's no evidence to support that. The evidence is in the reverse. And man create God in his image and likeness. That's why God is so wicked. God European created. God is backward and stupid. God caused all the problem. Just take the story of Adam and Eve. If God creates two people, in fact he creates one. So God no have no sense to know say, man alone can't do nothing. You have to have man and woman. So God shows his stupidity, ignorance, and damn fool. And then, if you put man and woman together, they're going to be attracted to each other and have sex. You know that. That's only natural. But then, it's a sin.
Yeah.
Huh?
That was the sin.
Yeah, how is that a sin? What rubbish is that? Then, the man and woman have two boys. And they brought gifts to God. One must be a farmer, the other two have a bird for God. The other one is a herder, animal, and car sheep for God. God like the sheep and never want to hear man banana. And the two boys catch a fight. And God caused it. Because God should take both gifts and say thank you to bring me all these lovely things, thank you. Even if God didn't like both of them, God is stupid. God prefer one to the other, and the two boys catch a fight, and one kill the other. God caused it. God is the problem. And then, the boy that survived, after killing brother, he go and marry a woman, they are not. Where she come from? When only two people was created.
Yeah.
They are lying rubbish.
The Bible has
Rubbish.
incredible contradictions.
Yeah. I don't believe in it. Anyway, we should have a lot to talk about our work for because
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's a book that will get you to read other books. You see, and so on.
You haven't linked or you haven't talked much about the link between the Black Studies UK and the US in terms of contemporary and in the past.
Well, just quickly then. Black Studies, obviously, because it's a method of liberation, we liberate ourselves through our own studies. We study ourselves. It's inherently political. We've never had Black Studies in London. There's Black Studies at the moment, right, in city of Birmingham, Birmingham City University, with Kehinde Andrews is the professor. And I'm told that that's under a lot of pressure at the moment. Yeah, I mean, we've got some type of Black Studies here. Black Studies is massive in the United States. They call it Africana Studies in the United States. And many of the historically black colleges, it's there. You can do a Black Studies course in the United States quite easily. Here, because we're such a small, minoritized group of people, we don't really have Black Study. We have it in Birmingham, and that's it. Black Studies is a method of, it's how we survive. If your child understands Black Studies, they have a sense of a global understanding of who they are. The reason Africa is under pressure from all these structural programs is that many of those African leaders did all their education in the West. They've got Eurocentric mentality. If they had Black Studies that links the African continent to the diaspora, maybe the decisions would have been different. You see where I'm coming from? So Black Studies is inherently political. It's political because we're using it to survive. You see, and as I said, the third aspect of Black Studies is that it's inherently an anti-racist activity because you're studying yourself, and we can draw on huge amounts of knowledge because of our history, our ancient and medieval history. So yeah, that's the connection. The connection is that we're struggling here. We struggle here to survive, and I don't know what the next 50 years are going to be like in the UK, but even this, I mean, look, 4 in attendance. I mean, it's
in fact, just to comment on the Black Studies, does anyone know of a person called Femi Biko?
Yeah.
Know him?
I've never met him.
What do you know about Femi
I
Biko?
think it's Steve
Femi Biko is one of our great scholars in this country. He hasn't written any book, and he needs to get his name in print. Because what Femi Biko did is that he drew from American Black Studies, and as you know, as Brother Howard had just said, Black Studies was centered in the universities. And what Femi did, Femi make ownership of Black Studies by taking it out of the university institution and put it in the community. So he formed a group called APAS, the association. And I'll tell you what APAS means in a minute. And the key was to train young people in African studies, and they would then replicate and set up groups up and down the country abroad. And the best students become teachers. And out of that, 3 people emerge. And out of those 3, only one is well known, Robin Walker.
Who are the other 2?
Pepukayi Jegna and a sister called Amitai.
She's oh right, not oh yeah, Amatai. Not yeah, okay.
And sister Amitai.
Right, got you.
He's a brilliant historian, trained by Femi Biko. Sadly, APOS come under attack from the white enemy state because they see where APOS was going. And they attack it and it gets smashed up. Robin Walker didn't just pop out the sky. He's one of Femi Biko's greatest children. And when you listen to Robin Walker, he's top
Yeah.
when it comes to
Black history man.
Yes, top. And when you call him Black History Man, they don't call him like that for nothing. He earned it. Because his book, When the Rule, is a landmark book. And that came out of the teaching of Femi Biko.
Can I ask a question? Hasn't London got more blacks than
Black-
Birmingham?
Black what?
Black people than Birmingham?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So
And-
why did they put the
No, no,
black studies in Birmingham and not?
no, be careful. It's a question which academic hold on to it and is pushing and moving it. And Kennedy Andrews, again, he didn't just go to university and become a brilliant scholar. He comes out of struggle because his father, Maurice Andrews, created Arambi in Birmingham. And in Arambi, you had the bookshop, I read bookshop, you had the free legal advice,
Perfect.
you have housing association, around those, you had a daycare nursery. Of all the organizations in Britain that African people create, there was none like Arambi. Because Arambi have all the various departments advocating and struggling for black survival, black self-delivery, black sustainability. You know, again, instead of we holding on to organization and build them up, we run away from them and they crumble and disappear.
Brilliant.
It's a shame that more of us didn't go to Birmingham then.
Yeah, and then we had there was some in addition to that's brilliant. Birmingham University had some things going because because of the what's it called, the contemporary studies of
Kennedy Andrews was a lecturer here.
exactly. Yeah. So that it's uniquely political.
And
really.
in fact, Bev's daughter, Lisa Palmer, professor of African history, they fell out between themselves, and we must always remember, as African people, whenever we have differences, always try to solve it.
Every time.
amicably. Because when we fight amongst ourselves, we're no enemy to come in and
mess it all up.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just want to say that the Kennedy Andrews, I mean, he's brilliant, isn't he? He's spot on. He's expert.
He comes out of story.
Expert on colonialism and the
Alexander.
empire. Yeah, he's just great. You heard of him, yeah?
Yeah, I
First
know.
time for you. Okay,
I know
his
him.
books are here.
In fact, let me make sure at least you can see
Yeah,
at least one of his
No,
books.
his books are brilliant. He's great.
I know it.
Yeah, he really is good. Yeah, you can. It's on. It's available in this bookshop. It's available Waterstones. It's available foils. It's also available on blackhistorybooks.com. I'm buying one of these today.
That's from the colonial.
Yeah, I'm buying one of these today. what else? It's available at my website as well. But you don't want to post it today, or
I'm just asking.
yeah. So it's available on blackbooks.com UK. It's available here. You can order books from the Market Centre. It's available in Waterstones. Yeah, you can order books over the phone. Just ring him up and also.
You have to pick your.
Yeah, I don't know what system he's got going, but you can order books here. Any book you want, he can get. So yeah, it's available at a couple of outlets. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one on there because I want that.
Make sure you ask as many questions
Yeah.
to our brother before he leaves.
See a time when race consciousness will be in among our people here in the UK, because we're students and we have a conference society, we try to get people coming, but we can see that our people are colorblind, our people.
What's your organisation?
Because we're students, we have student society, so we have
Right.
Pan-African societies of uni.
Right.
And we can see that our African people were not racially conscious, and first, apart from maybe the population of here and US, maybe in US there are more black people. Do you think that there's another thing that's why we are not African American? Because America, you can
Yeah,
see
we've
that.
given into the. I think we've given into the concept of the nation state looking after you. Black people, many black people have got used to. They've got a job, they've got a house, they've got a car. They've seen that as a full representation of liberation. They see that. Okay, I've got a job, I've got a house, I've got a car. We're fully liberated.
Is it that people are not feeling struggle from the system? Is it that here there's less?
Yeah, also there's fear as well. I think a lot of black people here are absolutely scared to even talk about racism. You know, there's deep fear about talking about racism. You know, they don't want to talk about it. But essentially, it's racial illiteracy. They don't understand who they are, why they're here. We, yeah. You see what I mean? And there's that disconnection there.
It just brings back. Would you then say that racism, I'm talking like institutional, in this island, in the UK, would you say it's more? Is it because it's not as no, I mean like just out there as it is in the US? You know, I feel like majority of us have got this sort of comfort that the system works for us. Most people I've spoken to that have spoken, I don't really see the sense of Pan-Africanism. You know, the people I've spoken to that genuinely say, I know myself.
Well, they don't see the dangers that's coming.
I think that's why they have this identity. They don't understand that this is my identity, but they don't feel the connection to African people around. And I think also it might be from the experience. That's a sort of theory that I have. I'm still trying to understand where they get that from. I think it's because of what they experience over here. Majority of people that give that sort of attitude to me, I just ask them, where did you get that from? Why do you not feel like you belong to the continent? Why do you not feel connected to your own people worldwide? You know, but I see people telling me they don't see the existence of a black community. They don't see it, and the major argument they would give is, we met a few Africans over here that acted this type of way towards us. You know,
I think it's absolutely rooted in a lack of knowledge of self, you see, and also constant racism. You see, there's kind of battle fatigue, the fear of talking about racism, a lack of knowledge about, you see, I mean, we've come out of slavery. Black studies only started 2016, I think it was, or 2014. 2014, black studies here in the UK. You see what I mean? So there's a sense in which black people here are devoid of a knowledge of their history. So they get up in the morning, they just want a job, They don't want to talk about racism. And of course, the new racism is to talk about racism. If you talk about racism, you're a racist. You see what I mean? That's the big start. I mean, I work in a school. I don't talk about racism in school. Even when children level their racism against me, I have to just call it bad behaviour. Unless they say the N-word, it isn't racism, even though I can see it's racism. You see? So we live in an environment which is anti-black in many respects. This is an anti-black society. People are scared to talk about racism. People have no knowledge of self. So they don't see any virtue in understanding it. They want to get their heads down, keep quiet and get stuff. Or be a footballer. Or be a musician or something like that. They don't see any, and they don't see what's coming. They don't see that China is recolonizing Africa. They don't have no political head on them at all.
Speaking of dangers, can you touch on the dangers that we face in this contemporary world and this society? Can we talk on the dangers that are posed to us as African people here?
Well, the main danger is to deculture you, to make you think that you ought to not be African. You ought not to centre your culture. That really to talk about racism would make you a racist. You see, to be anti-black, to hate thyself. The number one problem of racism for black people born here, and if once you come over here, it makes a difference whether you're born here, you're going to be treated exactly the same as me. The number one problem is internalisation of inferiority. So most of our black children feel inferior. They don't need a racist incident. Imagine that. They don't need to be called the N-word at all. They just feel inferior. That's been siphoned through the educational system, siphoned through the media, siphoned through the books and so on. So we're attacked. Our very identity is attacked. That's the attack, because we just don't see the benefits of being African. You need to divest yourself of your culture and so on.
Keep talking.
But didn't we have agencies, racial, for support?
Say that again?
Agencies here for support for black people who are having racism put upon them. If probably parents were having problems with their children at school, there was somewhere they could go to talk about it and have that support. And looking at now, since these agencies no longer are available, there are so many black children now from school where parents are having problems and they don't know where to turn, who they can get support from. And the children are just taken out of school and put into special.
I know, it's disgusting. The stats for it is really bad at the moment. It's really bad, Yeah, we're in a bad way. The black community is on its knees at the moment. We're on our knees. It wasn't like this even 20 years ago. It's pretty bad.
Because there were agencies around.
Yeah, we had a sense of ourselves. Brixton was, it is even now. It used to be the centre of blackness and so on. But much of it has been taken away from us. The carnival is not what it used to be. You see, so yeah, it's a big struggle out here. It's really hard to survive. Many of us feel battle fatigued. We're tired of the racism. It's very hard.
But the destructive element is where does parents go? And then generally they don't talk about it to get support from other parents. Who are probably going through the same thing themselves. So everyone is living in their little cocoon, isolation, and dealing with.
Yeah, and racism vamped up. Donald Trump is now president again. Quite easy to predict. Racism is on the rise. You know what I mean? It's not a good time. And all I can say is that we've got to arm ourselves with who we are.
Exactly.
Have a sense of who we are as a people. Black studies is really important because it's an anti-racist activity. You're not just reading a book. You're reading about yourself. You're reading about
And
your
that gives you confidence.
yeah, and it
on the
connects
whole,
you to the world, the global world system of blackness. You see, that's what that's about, really.
I wanted to ask about fascism and how we could battle that, but it seems you've answered that.
Say that again.
Fascism. I wanted
Yeah.
to ask on fascism and Trump in the United States, how Africans can arm themselves to defend against fascism or to even attack or fight fascism. But it seems you just touched on that now, talking about the book.
Yeah. Again, fascism is about it's racism in the nation state. So the state is very about security. It's about controlling the amount of immigration there is and so on. It's a racist endeavour. It's slightly different in Germany than it would be in other countries. Yeah, it's people don't want to accept it, but fascism is definitely America's going that way in a big way, isn't it? It's becoming deeply fascist. Again, we just need to arm ourselves with where we used to be. If we have a knowledge of self, where we came from, we can go back. We can go there. You are young guys. If this was 1983, it'd be a different place, wouldn't it? We were at a different place. Yeah, it's just really hard. But I tell you, we have got resilience as black people. But we must arm ourselves with who we are. We've got to know who we are. And this notion of black consciousness, a global commitment to one another, is really what it's about, which will arm us to set up these institutions, set up organisations, to connect with each other in the best ways that we can. We're not all going to be able to go on black study programs. We're not going to be able to do that. Maybe we can't even afford it. But there are resources around us. This is an amazing place because we've got resources that we need. Everything you need to know about who you are is right here in this bookshop.
If there's someone who want to do black studies in the UK, it's only in Birmingham.
Only in Birmingham.
Birmingham City University.
Absolutely. Or do it yourself, work through the Racism Handbook, and you'll get it.
No, hold on, no.
Are there other little courses?
Thank you. It was nice hearing.
Thank you. Thanks.
For the second time.
Thank you.
But I've got to go. I was supposed to go ages ago.
Thank you.
I'll read your book. I'll get one next time.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Right, Charmaine, what's her name? They run a black studies course.
What's her name?
Charmaine, I forget her second name. But that's been established for a long time in running.
Where is it?
There's no workforce center in Islington.
Okay, I don't know.
But we'll get the information. Black studies course.
Oh, I know. You mean black studies? The black studies. Yeah. Black studies. Yeah. It's Charmaine and There are they do black history tours as well.
Yeah. And SOAS?
No.
SOAS, there is no black studies.
SOAS that's African studies and colonial studies, and it looks at Asia.
It's a white institution.
It looks at Asia, and it looks at Africa, and it looks different parts of the global south. It's a different course.
Does it help?